Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Fly Me to the Moon. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay, our two leads here. We got Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. So, ScarJo. Let's talk about her first. As you know, the MCU's Black Widow, when her character was still alive. But besides that, she's done quite a few other movies, as you can see here. First one that I would definitely recognize. I know Ghost World is kind of a cult classic, but Lost in Translation, but that's like the first one people would automatically recognize. Although there was Home Alone 3, which was weird. It's weird seeing her in that movie. But and yeah, she voiced Mindy in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. So that's a nice little bit of trivia there. But after that, it's just kind of a lot of bleh movies. Nothing that big, like at all, until she entered the MCU with Iron Man 2. And then Lucy. Lucy was a big one. That was a big hit back in 2014. It made a lot of people really want a Black Widow movie, and we would get it 7 years later. Some would say a good 3, 4 years too late, but we got it in the end, I guess. Yeah, Lucy was definitely an example of the ScarJo. She can draw a crowd even without a big franchise, to support her. But so you have that. Some of these are like voiceover roles, so I'm not really gonna go over those too much. Ghost in the Shell, oof. Let's not talk about that right now. It's Jojo Rabbit. Nothing really else here. No. Well, there's Black Widow, the movie, which obviously its theatrical run was compromised because of Disney Plus and just the marketplace being just weird and just bad, really. So I'll give that a bit of a pass. Not to mention there was the whole lawsuit where she sued them because a bit of a breach of contract because the whole streaming element, the day and date streaming element, that was not in her contract, and there was a whole legal battle. They said her and Disney said some words, they settled, and apparently she got a nice bit of money out of it. So yeah. So yeah, Scarlett Johansson, mainly known for her work as Black Widow in the MCU, but she's had quite a few movies on her resume. And then we got Channing Tatum. So let's talk about him. Going all the way back to Coach Carter. Jeez. Yeah, but like his first like real like main role, I guess it was Step Up, which was a nice little hit, and it spawned a whole series of movies. But GI Joe, Rise of Cobra, that was like his first real big movie, first real blockbuster esque movie, and it didn't do great. It didn't do awful, but it didn't do that great. Not to mention his reputation wasn't very good. So yeah, and around this time, Channing Tatum, his acting wasn't that good. I don't know if it's because he just didn't have the right script at the time, or his talent hasn't really evolved yet. I don't know, but he got a lot of criticism around this time. But that would all change with 21 Jump Street. Okay, when that came out, people saw that movie and were like, "Whoa, Channing Tatum, he can act. He's actually funny." People were surprised about that. But yeah, yeah, 21 Jump Street saw people watch that movie. They saw Channing Tatum in a whole new light, a better light. And 2012 was a great year for Channing Tatum. I mean, he had 300 million movies that year. The Vow, 21 Jump Street, and Magic Mike. So that was a great year for him. Um, Yeah, G.I. Joe Retaliation, where it really wasn't his movie, it was more The Rock's movie. The 22 Jump Street, even bigger hit than the first one. It's really insane. We never got 23 Jump Street. You think they would have jumped on that, but no, never happened. And we never got that crossover with Men in Black. Kind of makes you think, like, what could have been. Then a whole lot of, we'll talk about this later with some of these movies. Well, Dog, that did quite all right for itself, as did Lost City. Both of those did fine business. Magic Mike's Last Dance did not, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But yeah, Channing Tatum, he's had some hits under his belt. And yeah, these two are definitely, probably the main reason why anyone would even watch this movie. So I say like these, Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, that both their presences. I say that's a pro, definitely. Any other one else? Who else do we got? Who is this Jim Rash? I've never heard of him in my life. Well, it's no point really talking about him. Uh, Ray Romano. He was in my Everyone Loves Raymond, right? Yeah, yeah. I know that, but I mainly know him as Manny from Ice Age. Yeah, that's what I know him from, and that's pretty much what it was, at least with his movies. That's what anyone remembers him from. The Ice Age movies is Manny the Mammoth. That's really about it. And then you got Woody Harrelson, who's in goddamn everything. um, a lot of these are this like supporting actor roles. Not too many like main actor roles. Stuff like there's White Men Can't Jump. That's like a classic. Indecent Proposal, I guess. Sure. Natural Born Killers, that's a controversial one. Kingpin, let's not talk about Kingpin. See, and yeah, a lot of these are like supporting role movies. Most of these are movies that are either not really focused on Woody Harrelson or movies that no one remembers at all. Now, Zombieland, that's an important one because he was Tallahassee and he was like one of the standout characters in that movie. So yeah, everyone knows about Zombieland. And then 2012, big old disaster movie. And that movie, he's basically a crazy conspiracy theorist that's proven right because the world's going to shit. And he just has a pretty epic death out there. I'll just say that. And then, of course, Woody Harrelson was Haymitch in the Hunger Games movies, which were obviously big, a decade ago. And he's also in, the Now You See Me movies, which is there's going to be a third one coming out next year for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's weird, but that's just what's going to happen. And they got War for the Planet of the Apes. Solo. I forgot he was even in Solo. Like, legit, I forgot. And Venom as Carnage. Cletus Cassidy. He was in that. And yeah. Yeah, but Woody Harrelson, he's been in a lot of movies, a lot of well-known movies. So I say the cast is a pro. It's probably the biggest pro this movie has. So that's pro number one. Pro number two, its reviews are okay. 68% isn't bad, but it's not great. Just okay. The epitome of okay. Its audience score is better, is at 89%, which is still not incredible, but okay. Its cinema score is an A minus. So overall, word of mouth is just good. Not grand, not terrible, not even mid, just good, and that's about it. So overall, just merely good word of mouth. I'm gonna label that as a pro. Um, I don't know what else I could say. Uh, I guess we can go to cons. I guess a big con with this movie is that man, this does not feel like a big movie at all, despite its $100 million budget. Which I'm just like, why? Why would you spend that much on a movie like this? I don't get it, man. Like this is the genre's romantic comedy. A romantic comedy should not cost this much money. I'd understand something like Bad Boys Ride or Die costing $100 million because it's a big action movie with explosions and stunts and all that jazz. But this thing, 100 million, like that, it just seems irresponsible. It just seems like dumb. You're kind of the movie's just kind of screwing itself over. So yeah, so that budget is a big issue, especially considering the movie doesn't feel like a real event. It doesn't feel like something I'd want to pay to see on the big screen. It feels like it could have been a Netflix movie and nothing would have changed about it. It really wouldn't have changed like it how people viewed it. And I imagine most people are going to be watching this movie on Netflix anyway. So, or not even on Netflix. It's on Apple TV Plus because it's an Apple movie. My bad. If this was a normal Sony movie, then it definitely would have been on Netflix, but it's not. They're just distributing it. It's not from them particularly. So yeah, so that budget is a con, and just the marketing has just not really been there. It's not really pushing this as like a big movie or remotely like a big movie. So that's a con too. Another con is that you got options out there. You have quite a few movies to choose from. You have Despicable Me 4, you have Inside Out 2, you have Quiet Place Day 1, even this weekend, Long Legs. That movie's doing amazing for what it is. And so you have those four movies you can watch. And with this is probably going to be last on the list, or maybe like third or fourth, because obviously people care about most of the other movies that are out right now. Even movies that are old, like Inside Out 2, that's a month old at this point, and it's still bringing in a nice amount of cash. So, yeah, competition, not direct competition, but just competition in general is just no, it's for this movie it's not ideal. So, that's a con. Another con is Apple and their movies. Okay, I know the Apple movies aren't like other movies. I know like Apple doesn't give a good goddamn about the box office. It's really just about like having these movies that give them a big profile so you can put them on Apple, TV Plus later. And like I get that. But but that doesn't mean that I can't critique these movies' box offices. I can't because I very much can. And from what I've seen, it's pretty awful objectively. I mean, like earlier this year we had Argyle from Matthew Vaughn, which I imagine most of you probably forgot about. Um, so this came out 200 million budget, couldn't even make 100 million worldwide. In the states, couldn't even reach 50 million. Like that's just horrendous. That is just downright dire. But that's not the only one. I think I have to find the others because I don't think they were labeled as Apple original films. But last year we had two big Apple movies opening right at the end of 2023 too. So the first of those is Killers of the Flower Moon from Martin Scorsese. And despite all the pedigree, all the box office and awards pedigree in front of the screen and behind the screen, the movie didn't do that good. Over 23 million, made like 68 million, 156 million worldwide on a budget 200 million. Oof. Then later on, this was like during Thanksgiving, right? Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend, you had Napoleon from Ridley Scott, and this didn't do all that good either. Over the 20 million, made like 61 million domestic, 217 million on a budget of 200 million. Again, bad. And again, I know Apple doesn't care about the box office, but still, from I guess from a PR perspective, from just like looking at the numbers as they are, they're not good. They are objectively not good. So that paints a really bad picture for like any big original Apple movie that's going to be coming out. Like, sure, for Apple, the box office doesn't need like big box office, but it'd be nice to have it. That way, it doesn't look so embarrassing. So yeah, the lackluster box office for other Apple movies. I'm gonna label that as a con. Its Thursday previews aren't that good. 875K. Granted, this was a movie that was never gonna have big previews in the first place. I think expecting that would be kind of foolish. But still, they don't paint a picture that this movie's gonna have a big opening. So yeah, that's a con. And I think that's it. I think that's really it. So opening weekend, this movie was projected to hit like 12 million. Now I'm here seeing like 10, 11. I think I'm just gonna go with 10, give or take like a million more, a million below, so like 10 million. And its legs should be like fine, maybe. I mean, Twisters. I mean that could be big, but I don't think it'll be too big. Now, Deadpool Wolverine that might just crush everything in its path. But that's like 2 weeks from now. So I don't know, 30, 40 million just to be safe. I didn't even mention that a lot of these like serious like adult movies that have been coming out during the summer season, they haven't been doing really good. I mean, Bike Riders, that was a flop. Horizon flopped. It pretty much caused chapter 2 to just get yeeted off the schedule. So yeah, I forgot to mention that. That's a problem too. Yeah, 30 to 40 million. I'm just gonna go with that. And that's it for Fly Me to the Moon. Okay, we got two more movies. I'm not doing Lumia. I'm just not. Okay, I didn't know it was a thing until like today, and I'm just not gonna talk about it because like, what's the point? It's not gonna make any money anyway. So instead, we're gonna do the Lion King re-release and then Long Legs. I'm interested in talking about Long Legs because this movie, it went from like a small movie and now it's just kind of like exploding in a way, which is kind of nice to see. So that'll be interesting to talk about. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? Got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made on the channel. All so you want to watch any of them that I've done this year or the past few years, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where during that series I went over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Fly Me to the Moon. I talked about this movie, but it wasn't called Fly Me to the Moon, at least not yet. I think it was called Project Artemis. Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I talked about that on episode 225. I talked about it alongside Demon Slayer to the Hashira training, Scrambled, and Wolves. So yeah, that was like the first and last time I talked about it, and that was before he even got his name. Which I should mention, its name was used in a very, very forgotten animated movie from like 2008. Literally, it was called Fly Me to the Moon. It was like about flies, and it was 3D. I can't. Is it? Is it? I wonder how many other people like noticed that, because I doubt there's too many people, but I noticed it. Okay, I noticed like a title of a movie that's basically being like reused for another one. But anywho, you have 250 episodes of canceled you can watch, and it really annoys me that I had to kill that series because now suddenly big news is happening. Literally, they announced Shrek 5, and I'm just like, are you serious? I could have You could have done that several weeks ago. I would have been on board. I would have done it immediately, but no, you did it after I was done with canceled. Okay. So that annoys me quite a bit. But I'm still excited about Shrek 5, obviously, because Shrek 5. But if you want to watch any of my cancel episodes from beginning to end, you can go do that. You can binge them all. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. I know I said I was going to be doing it this week. I'm going to try to do it technically today. On Saturday, I should be able to have enough time to do it. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.